Well, hello everybody, and welcome to LA Dodger Report and my take on the NLCS, what we've seen, and how we got here. Focusing on the 3-game series just completed at Dodger Stadium. Now, the Dodgers and the Brewers, as you know, began in Milwaukee, and they split the first 2 games. The Dodgers were lucky to come away with a win in Game 2 and were feeling pretty good coming home for Game 3. With the series tied, we basically had a 3-game series. The Dodgers just needed to take 2 of 3 at home, and they would be in very good shape. They had their young ace Walker Buehler going to the mound in Game 3 at Chavez Ravine, but things didn't play out like the Dodgers and their faithful were hoping. Milwaukee shut down and shut out the Dodgers offense. Cody Bellinger and Yasmani Grandal had horrible, terrible games. Cody had gone stone cold at the plate, much like he did in the 2017 World Series. And Grandal, much like he did throughout the season, had a very bad game behind the plate with a couple of errors, passed balls, dropped balls, and allowing runners to advance, which led to runs. It was a terrible game. And after the game, Kike Hernandez called out his team as being lifeless and not having any energy, but he also called out the LA Dodger faithful that were at the stadium. He said the fans lacked energy and they didn't give the Dodgers enough backing support and energy so that the Dodgers could push forward. I'll tell you who did hear some loud cheering, and not the good kind, but that was Grandal. The fans were booing him and they were giving him a taste of their mind. Dodgers lost Game 3 and were looking pretty bad at that point, down 2-1. Game 4 brought Rich Hill, Dick Mountain to the mound, and they were looking for redemption. Cody and Grandal were benched for the game. Now, Rich Hill pitched pretty well, but he was pulled after 5 innings in a tie game at 1-1. And Hill, as he is wont to do at times when he gets pulled, he had a little bit of a rage out in the dugout, which he later said was meant to hype up the guys on the team and give them some energy as well. Now, one complaint that I had in Game 3 was the same complaint that I had in Game 1 that Dave Roberts pulled with David Freese. He started David Freese in the game. And when the opportunity came for Freese to do what the Dodgers got him specifically to do, when that time came, Dave Roberts pulled him in favor of Max Muncy. Now, in Game 1, when he did that, I didn't like it because he Ended up not using Muncy as the inning ended before he could get to him, but he used Muncy in game one to start off an inning. And you don't pull David Freese and then use a power hitter like Muncy to lead off an inning with nobody on. What was the most he could do? Hit a solo home run? That was a ridiculous waste of Muncy and Freese. He did the same thing in game three. Early in the game, the Dodgers had the bases loaded in the second inning. Starting pitcher Gio had been pulled from the game, not pulled, but left rather because of an injury. And the Dodgers had bases loaded, and David Freese's spot was coming up. Now, Freese, the man with the highest postseason batting average of anybody on that field, postseason MVP, you want that guy coming up in that spot. And what did Roberts do? He pulled him. He sat the bat down of Freese and he put in Max Muncy, who Muncy tried for the home run, the grand slam, and nothing. He struck out, flied out, I can't remember, but either way, he didn't get that hit. And the Dodgers ended up not scoring early in the game and ended up in a marathon. The thing became a marathon. Now, what happened was both managers in that game ended up just emptying out their bullpens and using all their horses, Milwaukee and the Dodgers included. They went all the way to the 10th inning. They went extra innings. Kenley Jansen had to pitch two. He pitched the 9th and the 10th because the Dodgers and Brewers were tied at that point. Jansen pitched the 10th and he gave up a big fly ball. And Cody Bellinger, who had not started, who had been benched because his bat was ice cold, Cody was in right field at that point because he had pinch hit earlier. And Cody came scampering across from right field, 63-foot run, and made a fantastic sliding, sprawling, stretching catch out there. And he slid across the field like a big Dodger glider. It was a great play, and Cody saved Kenley's rear end on that one. The Dodgers escaped, and later on, in the 10th inning, Machado came up to hit, and he created a little bit of a controversy where he tried to leg out a single. Now, Machado had been getting aligned for not running and not hustling and not playing hard enough. Now, I really think that stuff, even though Machado said in an interview later, Machado said, that's not how I play. That's not my cup of tea. Well, I think it got to him a little bit, and he actually did turn up the energy on the base paths a bit because we saw him try to leg out that infield single. And what happened was a bit of a controversy because Aguilar, the first baseman for the Brewers, caught the ball to get Machado out. But now what Aguilar did was he had his foot squarely in the middle of the bag, which isn't what they teach first basemen to do. But either way, okay, you put your foot where you can in a bang-bang play. But what he also didn't do that they teach first basemen to do was move his foot as soon as he caught it. Now his foot stayed square on first base, right on top of the bag. And Machado, yes, I believe intentionally dragged his foot through and clipped Aguilar in the ankle. Little bit of a dirty play, and he could have hurt the guy, and that wasn't so great. That wasn't a good thing, but I think it was a little bit of 50-50 because Aguilar could have moved his foot, and who knows if he didn't leave his foot there hoping to trip up the Dodger base runner. Either way, I would call that a 50-50 play. But later, Machado comes back in the game after this controversy, and Machado comes up in the 13th inning, hits a single, and here's something we never see him do. He stole second base. Now this became a key play, because Cody Bellinger, the dog, 1 for 22, didn't start because nobody wanted him. Cody comes up, and in the clutch, in the spotlight, Cody bangs out a single. Machado hustles like we haven't seen him hustle before, and he came around and scored the winning run in the bottom of the 13th. The Dodgers took game 4 to tie the series, which brings us to game 5. This I call the clutch game. We needed Clayton Kershaw to come up big. He was the pitcher that day. Last time we saw Kershaw, he did not do very well at all. And the talk arose again of how Clayton Kershaw, great pitcher, but sure sucks in the postseason. That whole thing started again. We needed something good from Kershaw, and we got it. Clayton Kershaw, let me give you this. He went 7 innings, gave up only 1 earned run, struck out 9, 98 pitches. He retired his final 13 batters in a row. We saw old school Clayton Kershaw. And speaking of that, here was the key in the game. The Dodgers went completely old school, pitching and on offense, in game 5, while the Milwaukee Brewers tried to go 21st century. Craig Counsell, the manager, tried to pull some kind of hooky-wooky with his pitchers, where he had Wiley come out as the starter. He faced one batter, and then they pulled him, thinking that they were going to screw with Dave Roberts and his lefty-righty matchups and just play with Dave Roberts' heads. So he went quickly to this new strategy of announcing a pitcher, pulling him quickly, and going right to the bullpen. 21st century style. How did the Dodgers react? Well, the Dodgers' 21st century style of playing ball, which got them this far, granted, has been launch angle, hit for the long ball, and that's what they do. Don't play small ball, play for the big bomb. It got the Dodgers this far, but it also gives you an offense that's either very, very hot or very cold. And the Dodgers switched that up in the game. They went old school. They had seen the Brewers' bullpen a few times before, and they had learned that that long ball strategy isn't going to work against these power throwers that come in, and we're just overpowering them. And so what they did was they went old school. They shortened their strokes. They went to stealing bases. They went to manufacturing runs. And it worked. They got key hits from Austin Barnes, who, as a matter of fact, also was a key in this series. When they sat Grandal, they brought in Austin Barnes. Some people didn't want him because they didn't think he's got the offense. But look, you want a catcher that's solid on defense. That's what a catcher's main job is, to be solid on defense. And Grandal wasn't delivering, nor was he delivering with the bat, which was his plus. People thought Barnes didn't have a bat, but I had faith in the guy, and I know he doesn't bring the power like Grandal, but he's got a smart eye at the plate and he can hit. And that's exactly what Barnes did. He brought his smart eye to the plate, and besides an earlier game where he took a very intelligent walk instead of killing a rally, he did that. This time, game 5, he shortened his swing, key single to tie the game. Later, the Dodgers employed small ball swings, shortened two-strike style swinging action, and they got key singles from Muncy, the power hitter, from Justin Turner, the power hitter, and from Yasiel Puig, who frequently wants to be a power hitter. So all those guys who used to carry big bats went old school and knocked the Brewers bullpen right back into the 19th century. And so the Dodgers come through in game 5. They had a 3-game series to win and they pulled it off. We now have a 2-game series and the Dodgers only need to win 1. Hyun-Jin Ryu goes for the Dodgers on Friday, and he's been lights out in the playoffs. So look for Hyun-Jin Ryu to bring a good game on Friday, and we may just wrap this thing up in 6 games. All right, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. LA Dodger Report. Peace.